Hey, badass business owners. Today I want to talk about something that is very important, and it has to do with your mindset around all of the bad news and all the negativity that is running around rampant right now, basically claiming that your business is going to be destroyed over this coming year. And I want to make sure that I get in your ear early on this because I think it's a very important message. Now, let me back up for a second. One of the things I do, obviously, is because I have a YouTube channel, is every night I kind of look through my YouTube feed, see what's going on and what's happening. And all I see over and over and over is this whole doom. It's about to end, the Great Recession, this and that. You turn on the news. It's about to end, the recession, gas prices, this and that. You talk to people. Oh my God. But yet you see sometimes something different when you're talking to people and you're seeing people have some money to spend. They're not hurting yet. They're worried about the future. They're worried. They're going, oh, you know what? Even though I have the money, I'm wondering if I should. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy in some cases. Now, please do not get me wrong. It is tough out there right now. Gas prices are at this all-time high. And yes, for a lot of you guys, if you go look at your automobile expense line for gas, it's going to probably double this year. And you need to make sure that you're making the adjustments for it. We'll talk about that more here in a second. And yes, business is down in certain categories, no different than what it was when coronavirus hit. Because if you recall, some business owners did extremely well and others got killed. I'm in the real estate field. I can tell you right now, different markets have different outcomes going on. Our market has completely came to a slowdown. And that's just because we lack the houses and the interest rates have gone up and there's people worrying about what's going on in the world. And then there's other markets, they're still flying off of the shelf. Every market is different. Every neighborhood is different. My main point that I want to get across to people is I need you to go into a different mode. I need you to shift gears. And what I mean by this is, please, whatever you do, do not go into, oh my God, poor me, my business is going to fail, I can't afford all this gas, I can't do this, I can't do that, oh my God, the world's going to end, and if we don't, we're going to go into the World War this, and we're going to have this. Folks, half of the game is mindset, and half of the game is what it is that you tell yourself. I'd say more than half is what you tell yourself. Now, I'm not saying that your business is strong, but what you need to do is you need to shift gears and say, what did the people who ran businesses last time the market fell or every other time the market has fallen, what have they done to survive? I've talked about this a few times in the past. One of the biggest things that you can do for your business is have a cash reserve for if business does slow down, you can continue operations. I've talked about the fact that you need to be as debt-free as possible because when sales go down, you don't have the weight of having to pay creditors in your business. You're only having to worry about your basic day-to-day operational expenses and making sure that you can come up with enough work for any employees that you may have. And a big chunk of you don't even have any employees. It's about paying your particular bills. The reason that I tell you this is because business is always going to have waves to it. Whether it's a deadly outbreak of some disease, whether it's the economy having some hiccups with what's going on and readjusting and doing what it needs to do. It could be that you live in an area that has a once-in-a-lifetime flood and it takes out your entire town. There could be devastating fires. There's always something that could be happening that could hurt your business. But yet there are people that have been in business for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You cannot tell me they have not experienced their own share of troubles. But what they are able to do is they are able to pivot. And that's really what we need to do in each of our businesses. We need to have the cash built up in our business. Some of you have done that. Fantastic. Great job. Some of you were working on it. Fantastic. Great job. Some of you are just newer starting out and you haven't had a chance to do it, but you are keeping it in mind. Great job. And then there's some of you that like an ostrich put your head in your sand and you don't do it because you never look at your business numbers. In that case, not a great job at all. And there's some people that no matter how hard you try, you haven't been able to do it. And I totally get it. Really what it all comes down to is what I've been preaching forever and a day is that you've got to understand your business numbers so that you can tweak. And by the way, if you're looking at your business numbers, when people are telling you everything's going down, this is the perfect time for you to look at those business numbers and say, is that true for me? Or am I just buying into the hype? Or has my business shifted? Instead of me selling tons of this type of stuff or these types of services, all of a sudden I'm starting to see a pickup in these types of services, these types of things. And maybe that's where my energy needs to go, is into where the customers are buying into. Here's what happens a lot of times when money becomes tight. When money starts to become tight, the first thing that goes is people stop doing specialty items or nice to haves, or someday I would love to do this, or that dream this, or that dream that. And if your business is built on someone's dreams and wants, then that's when you, more than anybody, needs to take a pause and say, okay, what am I going to do when this type of dream stops? But one of the things that happens is, I'll bet you a lot of the higher end people that are making some really good money, some of them are still making money, and they're probably not going to pull back on that as quickly. Those of you that serve are lower end income, or people that are not making it, over 50,000, they're going to feel that the hardest, because obviously the gas prices are really going to hurt them more than anything. And our rising costs and rents are definitely impacting them. Now, I'm not saying anybody in between is not being hurt. Please do not hear that. I am not passing any judgment on anything. I have been there, done that, got that t-shirt, worked my ass off. That's one of the reasons why my mom is my hero, because she raised 4 kids for the most part by herself, and we lived that way my entire life. But so I know how hard you have to bust your butt to make things work. The key is, how do I get you to not have a business that starts to slide backwards? And a big chunk of it is not getting hung up on doom and gloom. What I need you to do is, I need you to stay focused. I need you to start really focusing on the pain points that your customers are having. Because if you focus on your customers' pain points and what it is they need solved, and that's what you make sure that your business is solving, you will always have customers. You may not have as many as you once did, but you will always have customers if you can solve people's pain points. For example, I'm always picking on those plumbers, right? And those water heaters. Well, when the water heater goes out, more than likely, I'm going to tell you, 98% of the people are going to get that water heater fixed. In which case, that is something you want to do. Will they stop remodeling their bathrooms? Probably, but they're still going to focus on the main things that need to get done. The second thing I need you to do is, are you really focusing on the right customers? We've talked about this as well, but we're not always great at following that advice. But if you're chasing the wrong customers in your business right now, you're probably going to feel some pain. So make sure that once you understand the pain points that you are going to be solving, that you're focusing on the customers that have the best intentions of using your business. You want to make sure you're focusing on the right neighborhoods in the right areas. Whatever it is that you do or work on or solve or serve, you want to make sure you're going after the right people. All right. And now we already talked about pivoting. You need to make sure that if you have high-end stuff that you do, or specialty stuff, or really nice to do stuff, kind of have some backup things that you can fall into if needed. I'm not telling you to jump there right away, but you can float it out there. You can try to make sure that you're ready to pivot your business. A lot of folks that got through when the big crash happened in 2008, there were a lot of people, because money was being thrown around like crazy prior to that, and there were a lot of people that built these specialty businesses on remodeling and really updating people's homes. And the people that were able to pivot to the basic necessities that people needed around the home were able to stay in business, ride out that wave, and then they could get right back into what it is that they loved. Remember, it's about profits. It's the goal is to continue to make sure that you have the profits coming in that you need to be able to run your business. Make sure you're tightening up, that you're not spending any money that you do not need to spend. Make sure that you know your budget, know what you can spend the money on. Do not waste money on advertising that does not pay for itself. I need to make a note, because I need to talk about advertising money that some people are just throwing away left and right, and they're not even calculating out how much they need to spend on money. Don't even get me going on that one. I've just looked at way too many recently that make me sick of how much money is being spent on money that they'll never get back and they'll never get customers. So I'm not saying don't advertise, but just make sure you're spending money on advertising in your business that is hitting the right people for the right reasons and getting you the sales that you need to do. Once again, the goal is, do not take any unnecessary risks that you do not need to do. Do not spend any money you do not need to do. But I don't want you going in with this mindset of doom and gloom and everything's going to fall apart, because if you do, you're going to make it happen. It's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. I need you to be smart. I need you to make sure that you're putting away as much money as you can into that emergency fund just in case. I need you to make sure that you are as debt-free as possible. So if you're really close to paying off some stuff, it might be worth getting them paid off really quick. So that way they are out of your hair and you don't have to worry about it, because this is something that's probably not going to turn completely right away. And here's the thing to keep in mind, folks. Right now, there's been a whole supply chain backlog of things. I can tell you, I used to be part of ordering and merchandising. And I know there's a lot of companies, for example, that a lot of you guys use that purchased their stuff 6 months ago. And if you think about 6 months ago, everything was still going really strong, and everything was, we couldn't get windows, couldn't get doors, couldn't get lumber, couldn't get this, couldn't get that, things were running off the shelf in the grocery stores and everything else because there was this big backlog of stuff. Well, now that some of that need is slowing down because of things not selling as quickly as it once done, or consumer spending going down, what's going to happen is a lot of that stuff's going to hit the ground, and instead of flying off the shelf, it's going to kind of be sitting there. It won't happen right away, but you're going to see this kind of self-fix itself as materials start to come in, because the demand's going down, and it's a thing of supply and demand, right? When the demand is really high and supply is short, prices go up. But when all of a sudden we have all this supply and some of that demand has trickled down, you'll start seeing the prices level off. Hopefully they will go down, but not everybody. Some people are going to be greedy and continue to keep their prices where they're at. But I think you're going to see some of that changes. Even new builds, for example, they couldn't get windows, couldn't get ACs, couldn't get a lot of parts. Well, now that the houses aren't flying off of the shelf in some areas, a lot of that stuff has been ordered months and months ago because it has to be made somewhere else, and it's going to hit. And then even those suppliers are going to be stuck with all those supplies because they kept ordering themselves for it to come in. So I think we're going to see some changes in a lot of different ways that are backed up. Remember, and I am not making this a political thing because that is not my thing, but I want you to start thinking for yourself and saying, hey, what is going on out there? What is going on in my market? What is happening in my neighborhoods? Not what people are telling you, but what are you experiencing? What are you feeling? What are people saying when you're talking to them? That's what I want you to do. I just want you to go into a different mode, and I want you to start really listening to your customers and to the people around you. And I want you listening to your competitors and what's going on in their business. And if they've given up, if they're really to walk, that's just business for you to be able to pick up. If your competitors aren't tweaking their business and they're not pivoting, but you can pivot, you might be able to pick up some extra business because they're not quite there yet to realize they need to shift their business and pick it up. I told you earlier about how I'm in real estate, right? A lot in our particular area, things have slowed down. And I've been telling people for a while now that the best agents are going to be the ones that pivot their business from what they were doing to where people are going today. And how do you talk to those people? How do you talk to the people that are still buying? Those are the folks that are going to be able to do really well, and then kind of see where the market goes and adjust as needed. That goes for every single business out there. I really enjoyed watching what businesses were doing after the market crash in 2008 because it really gave me an idea as to what it takes for businesses to survive the bad. There are some things that people will always need. Like I said, they're going to continue to make sure that they don't have any massive emergencies around their house. That doesn't mean they're not going to do some shopping. They will. Doesn't mean that they won't do some projects. They will. Depends upon what their particular cash flow is. Right now, we do still have a lot of people that are employed today, which is a really good thing. The issue is, how long will that happen? We'll have to watch and see what happens with the unemployment rate. But as long as people are working and as long as people have money coming in, what they're going to do is they're just going to make different purchasing decisions. Because if more of their money has to go towards gas, has to go towards rent, then yes, a lot of that free money that they spend willy-nilly on stuff is going to go down. So you just have to look at what it is that you offer. I'm just rattling at this stage, but my main point that I wanted to get across today is I need you to slow down for a minute. Do not buy into the doom and gloom. Please stay focused. Be smart. Don't spend money you don't need to spend. Build that emergency fund. Don't take on any debt. Pay off any debt that you can pay off in the meantime. In the meantime, I really want you focusing on your customer, who your ideal customer is. I want you to identify what their pain points are. I want you to shift your business and pivot to making sure that you are solving the pain points that are out there. And I want you to make sure that you're focusing your advertising and anything else that you do on the right people. I need you to make sure that you're not taking any unnecessary risks that you don't need to be doing. But I need you to keep a very positive attitude about what's going on. I need you to take your business by the horns and you direct where your business goes. It is in your hands. It's very important that you are doing that. Okay, I do not need you following the herd saying that everything's going to fall apart. That's not it. If you have customers that are having higher rents, that are having to pay for high gases, then I need you to make sure that you are saying, what are these people needing from me and from my business? How can I solve it? And when it comes to your gas, by the way, because you're hurting as well, I forgot to mention this. When you're hurting on your gas as well, I need you to make sure that you are looking at your scheduling. Are you crisscrossing all over the town? Are you taking on business that's 20, 30 minutes away that you do not need to be chasing? You need to pull your circle in a little bit more. You need to make sure that you're smarter and that you're grouping people together and making sure that you attack neighborhoods all on the same day. I just got one the other day from our pest people. Our pest people have said, look, we've had to put people into zones and we're going to be in this neighborhood on this date and this neighborhood on this date. And because of gas and everything else, I'm all for it. They should have been doing that all along. That's the thing you want to make sure is that this should change the way that you look at things and know that this is the way you should have been doing it anyways, because we shouldn't be driving all over tarnation. If you have to go out to a client's house and you're constantly having to go to supplies and pick them up, that's a broken piece of your business and you need to fix it now, because now more than ever you need that piece fixed in your business. And any pivots and changes that you make in your business over the next few months to ride through what's going on is ask yourself, should this be a part of your everyday business going forward? And let's fix it now. That's what we need to do. So please dive into your business. Look for those opportunities. Look for those money savers that you can do. Tighten up those expenses. See if you can get better costs. Watch those prices, because some of them are going up, but you're going to start seeing soon some of them flattening out or getting lower, depending upon how the supply chain works. I think that's going to be an interesting one that we're going to be talking about in a few months. Maybe not so much today, but I think that in about 6 months, because you got to remember there's a lot of stuff on the water and a lot of stuff being made overseas that takes 4 to 6 months to even come in. And the market's going to look very different in 4 to 6 months. And it'll be interesting to see what those suppliers need to do. Folks, I want each and every one of you to be successful, and I don't want to see any of you guys go out of business. But I also don't want you buying into the sky is falling Chicken Little stuff. That is not what's going on. It is a normal market correction that is really sucking, okay? Because these rents going up and these gas prices going up, at some point it's going to have to break. But in the meantime, you need to run your business better, and you need to be prepared for what changes you need to make within your business. I am not trying to be way overly optimistic. I am a realist. I call myself an optimistic realist. I like to deal with the real world, what's really happening, but I also believe in the best. And I think that if we put our energy into the good and we are prepared for it, prepare for the worst, but also expect the best. There's nothing saying that you have to prepare for the worst and then believe in the worst. All you're doing is going down that rabbit hole. That is not what I do. I believe that we need to, honest to God, make sure that we are prepared for the worst, but yet we are doing everything we can to make the good happen. And that's what I want to see you do as well. All right. I like I said, I know I'm rattling and I need to go, but I get really passionate about this because I really get tired of seeing everybody ride this trend of trying to just say negative, 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 because they know that it's clickbaity and it's going to get your attention and it's going to make you go down that. It's one thing to warn you about stuff, but it's another to just start hopping on the bandwagon and really trying to get everyday people to think the absolute worst, because we're going to go there if we start thinking that way. So be realistic, be prepared for that happening, but how can you pivot your business today? There were a lot of people that pivoted their business in 2008, 2009, and 2010. Did you know that statistically a lot of fantastic companies have come out of really bad downtimes because they're able to find those customers' pain points and those needs and solve them? And that's how they come out. So I'm not going to rehash all of that. With that, I'm going to wrap this puppy up. I'll talk to you on the next episode, but please, whatever you do, tighten those belts, stay focused, don't spend money you don't have, build that emergency fund, tweak your business as needed, find those pain points, focus on the right customers, pivot the business as needed, don't take unnecessary risks, stop driving all over town when you don't need to do it, and let's focus on knowing your business numbers. Use the information. It's got what you need in there to be able to help you come out of this thing as successful as possible, if not even stronger than what you are today. And with that, I truly am hanging up my cleats and I am out of here. I will talk to you on the next episode. Bye for now. Hey, badass business owner, before you go, as you know, I'm a huge believer in you knowing your business numbers. After all, it isn't about how much you sell, it's about what you keep. And the best way to grow your profits is to start diving in and understanding those business numbers. To help you on this journey, I have created the Know Your Business Numbers course. We will walk through how to read your profit and loss statement. You'll learn the key calculations that'll help ensure that you're making a healthy profit on all of your products or services, plus a ton of other good stuff that'll help you learn how to use those business numbers to create even more sales and profits. Just check out the link below in the show notes or visit knowyourbusinessnumberscourse.com. So if you're ready to increase those profits, it's time you start diving into your business numbers.